Good morning, traders. Happy Monday, August 25th. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we hop onto the charts, make sure you view us on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. I'm just an idiot here yapping on YouTube and everywhere else we're streaming for entertainment purposes only. Make sure you do your own research and make your own trading decisions. Also, read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, Code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Let's hop onto these charts. Markets are open. Making sure you guys can see and hear me. Stream looks good. What's up, chat? What's going on? Good morning. Another week coming into the end of August here. Crazy. Month is flying by. We're going to be talking markets. We're going to be talking Top 1 Futures, running a wild giveaway with a discount. Going to be looking at news, see what we got coming up for this week. What's up, Wolf? What's up, Daily Tail? What's up, Jess, Ralph, Fast Money Formula? What is going on across the board, chat? What's happening? Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. Morning, Kingpin. What's going on, guys? So let's hop on to these charts. See what we got rolling here. We have, you know what? Before we even get some analysis going, let's look at news. Let's look at news. I think it's pretty much a no news Monday. It's definitely not a high impact news Monday. We got new home sales today, but this is pretty close to what we would call a no news Monday. I like to, just a real quick overview of how I like to utilize the fundamentals, right? This is pretty much all I do. Take a look at the scheduled financial news events. I want to pay attention to the high impact, maybe a little bit of the medium impact scheduled news events. I note when they are. If I'm going to trade through them, I understand the risks that I'm taking on by trading through them. But when we have no news at all, sometimes I anticipate a little bit more of a choppy, rangy, consolidating market. If we have a lot of news, I'm often going to anticipate that we have a lot of volatility and volume that comes in, right? Before and after those, you can kind of identify a basic pattern. I'm going to really do my best to continue to focus the way that I speak about the markets and my trading in the dumb guy way that I do, which is pattern recognition, really just pattern recognition. I see this happen slightly more often than not. I do X, Y, Z, right? The narrative and the why behind everything, maybe that's extremely helpful for you. To find out. I always wanted to feel like I was smart, like I knew all of these things that was going on, and, it leads to creating these crazy narratives as to what's supposed to happen and why it happens and who's doing what, and it's like, is the candle going printing to the upside or downside, and where am I going to throw a stop loss? So we got new home sales today at 10 a.m. Eastern. Into the afternoon, we have some FOMC members speaking. Not too much. It's kind of a light day here. Really a light week overall as a whole. The only red folder high impact that we have is unemployment on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. And then we have core PCE price at 8:30 on Friday as well. We have a U.S. holiday, just looking all the way forward for next week. We have a U.S. holiday on Monday. And then we do have some larger news coming out later in the week, right? High impact news. And just so you guys can give you the early heads up, I've been talking about it in Discord. I'm not streaming at all this week. No streaming for me. I'm off the desk. If I get my trading in, it'll be trading from the phone, which I'm going to plan to do a couple of fun things, but no streams for me next week whatsoever. That's going to be my vacation week. So, not too much to worry about. 10 a.m. new home sales. We'll make note of that. We'll decide if we want to structure a trade in a specific way, but that's not something. Oh, come on, Project X. That's not something I'm really too worried about. I think this could be a slower moving Monday, to be honest. We had a lot of movement closing out the week last week, right? Big candle here printed from Friday. Starting at the daily chart, getting some top-down analysis now. That's the way that I really like to start my day off, especially my week off, right? Just kind of come back to the charts, get a feel for what's going on. Zoomed in, zoomed out, we know what's going on, right? Zoom out on the U.S. indices, trend to the upside, especially on the high time frames. Zoomed in on the daily. We can kind of see this continual break and retest and pushing of highs that's happened. We've pulled back down right to a key area here, put our prior week lows. This is Friday's low in here, down around the 63.60s, right? I got prior week's low at 63.62 and pushed all the way back up towards the highs. We didn't crack above, and now we're starting to sell off down below VWAP. Do we have to pull back down and check this area out? I think it's unlikely that we just absolutely sell off today and rip to the downside. I think it's also kind of unlikely that we just blast off to the upside and have a huge move. Anything can happen, right? I am taking my pattern recognition based on the the things that we just spoke about and anticipating what I think can reasonably happen for today. Can anything happen? Absolutely. War can break out. A hurricane can hit. Trump could say, like something crazy about tariffs, and all of a sudden, here we are, 150, 200 points, in one direction, right? Anything can happen. But what happens slightly more often than not, how can we kind of carry some of that context into our trading? Not a crazy bias. So I could anticipate possibly some chop, maybe a sweep of these highs, maybe pulling back down a little bit more. We start to sell off. This could get interesting. There's just really not much that we would need to do to the downside before we start really selling back off through that crazy pump that we had on that Jay Powell speaking on Friday. So if we really do start to aggressively sell off, I could see this thing potentially all the way back down towards those 6400s. We start to push back above VWAP. I could definitely see it back towards the 6500s. Maybe not all the way up there, 6490s, right? Kind of tapping into some higher volume areas, right? Where we've done quite a bit of business before. Got a little bit more on the visible range volume profile. So let's see. Just starting to get a feel, right? Not framing any clear trade ideas just yet. We sold off from the overnight session, tested VWAP, put our overnight low in there, 64.60 and 3/4, what I have marked here on ES. And then we pop back up towards VWAP. If I take a look at Bookmap, we got some levels to the downside here. Got some buy orders sitting to the downside back towards 64.50. I'd be interested to see what happens if we start to sell off back down towards this level. That's kind of interesting. Below that, you can see we do start to get heavier way down back towards where I have that zone marked to the downside on my chart. Back down towards these 6400s. To the upside, yeah, 6500, 200 on the book up there. Nice stack of orders at that round psychological number. So we'll see. My expectations for today are pretty low, right? Calm, no news Monday. As a whole, I really don't like to jump into Monday doing anything crazy. Like to start my week off easing back in, right? I would love to say that we're machines, right? And we can execute like machines. And, there's no warm-up period needed, right? And we can just jump directly into doing whatever we're doing. That is what it is. But that's really usually not truthfully the case, right? Try to be practical about my trading. And it's Monday morning. Want to get a feel for market structure, price action, right? Kind of what we got going on, and then look for a solid trade to present itself. So for right now, we've got about 20 minutes to that till that news. Orange folder news shouldn't be anything too crazy, but I really wasn't expecting Jay Powell to rocket the market the way that he did on Friday. So we'll see. If we start to sell off, I could be interested down around the 50s. We sweep below overnight low, trade out some levels of liquidity to the downside there. If we don't absolutely see the floor falling out by way of price action and volume, maybe could look for a long back up towards VWAP, a sweep down below. Conversely, we start to push to the upside. I don't know that I would just find my way into a long up here without taking out overnight low, coming back down and sweep this. I think I'd really have to see this taken first because we are selling off and now finding some sellers at VWAP here. So we start to push to the upside. I'm going to have to wait and see. Shorts, I definitely wouldn't like anything short until we really start to push towards the upside. We got a decent area, but this is really choppy back and forth, and a level that we tested multiple times here last week. I'd be really cautious looking short below, let's say, the 90s, 95s, all the way up off this level. I wouldn't mind a really aggressive short. I think it would be, you're essentially shorting towards all-time highs, which are up here. It's a little bit dicey to do, but I could see something like that if we got all the way up here. But that would be a big movement already, so maybe we do something in between now and then. So that's my analysis right off the bat. Nothing too crazy. Selling off through overnight, Asia-London session, retesting VWAP, opening up 20 minutes to orange folder news. Medium impact. Got a couple levels of liquidity down below. Nothing crazy. Pretty flat CVD. Nothing insanely volatile opening up this morning. Want to wait to see if the market's going to show its hand, which is really just a slang way to say that I get a good indication of where we might continue to move, and a good way to structure risk, right? In this market overall, longs have been paying me, shorts have not been. So I do like longs overall in general, but it depends on a day-to-day basis, right? I don't consider myself like, I see so many traders that if the market sells off, I know they took losses. If we pumped, I know they did well, right? There's so many that are just very cut and dry. I've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. I definitely need to find myself in more longs and less shorts. I don't think that I carry a short bias, but the data doesn't lie to me. I find myself in a lot of shorts. And obviously, if you look at what the market did over the last couple months, we went up, right? So how well would you have done intraday, taking more shorts than longs? Maybe not great, right? But can't complain. Last week, on a heck of a win streak, coming off a heck of a win streak last week. Really just straight W's in the live sessions with you guys. It was very fun. And, that's how it goes. You get these ebbs and flows of trading. You take wins, you take losses, you have winning streaks, you have losing streaks, you have choppy back and forth, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. That feels like it's never going to end. But as long as you stick to your guns, you stick to your approach, you don't get shaken when the market throws you a couple L's in a row, which it usually does. You can see things through to the other side. So, yeah, man, I'm kind of eyeballing this. We could start to push above VWAP. I think if we do, we could see a pretty quick move back up towards that temporary volume point of control on the 15-minute. Back up around maybe the 85s, a little bit above that. I could see a sweep up there. But I'm not going to jump into anything just yet. A crack down below the 60s and then a pull back up to VWAP would have enticed me into a long, but so far no. So far, nothing. Good morning, and bank holiday in the UK. Is it we talking about next Monday, or are we talking about today? Fast money formula. Is it a bank holiday in the UK? Let's see, because I have USD only on here. Yeah. Yep. It is a bank holiday. Yep, all UK banks closed. Yeah, again, that's not observance of summer bank holiday. Yeah, I mean, that's not something that I'm going to take into extreme consideration, but that would be a financial center being closed for the day could be a little bit slower. But we're trading the US indices here. US markets are open. Here we go. Finding some sellers off of VWAP here. Off of VWAP. I would, like I said, wouldn't mind a sweep of these levels on, these stacks of orders on Bookmap. Again, forgetting the crazy narrative as to why. Pattern recognition. If I'm looking long, we got some of these nice lit up Christmas trees down below a key level or right around a key level. Adds some confidence for me to look long. If we come down here, maybe take everything out and then start to push back up to the upside. Wouldn't mind that. Wouldn't mind that long. Don't know if we do that though. We got about 15 minutes to orange folder news. I'd like to get past that. I'd like to hang out and just let that do whatever it's going to do, unless something really nice sets up between now and then. Well, let's see. Morning. Yo, today. Yeah. Morning, Rob. What's up? Scott. What's up? What's going on, Scott? Good morning, guys. Good morning. Yeah, reading through some of your comments here, guys. If was wrong, doesn't match book map. Monday. Yeah, make sure you're zooming out, kind of resetting everything. What's up, Jan Arvine? What's going on? Make sure you reset everything, right? I hopped on, what was it, Thursday, where all my levels were all over the place. I was marking on one chart and then split screen. All of a sudden, everything ended up in the wrong spot. So you want to go through, take your time, especially on a Monday, get warmed back up. So going to let the market start to open up. Not too crazy just yet. Sells off a VWAP in a downtrend would be paying if that's your play. Very, very simple. Bounce play off a VWAP to the downside for a little continuation. Starting to play out. Yeah, I mean, there's an opportunity where I do think there's definitely a day where, maybe new home sales really start to kick us lower and we see a lot of volatility come in and we just completely erase this move from Friday. I don't know that we get that, though, today. I think that might be a lot to ask for out of these markets. Not that I'm going to discredit that and say that can't happen, but I wouldn't mind getting long down here because if we're not going to do that, right? If we're not going to do that, what are we going to do down here? Maybe sweep down below lows, pick up some orders, trade out the 64.50s, nice round psychological number, and then push back up, right? I think this would be, if we got down here, this would be a decision-making point down here, right? We're either going to find buyers, start to push back up to the upside, get back to VWAP, get back above, or we're really going to harshly sell off super aggressively. So could give me a good way to structure risk, right? Where I know if we come down, 15 points below the 50s, 20 points below the 50s, I think we're continuing all the way down, and I'm dead wrong getting long. Shorts are going to get paid. So I wouldn't mind that. But I don't know. We can just push to the upside from here also. So a lot of yapping about the market, mostly just for me to say I don't have anything beautiful setting up into the first 20 minutes of this week's open. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I don't have a super strong indication one way or the other. No beautiful way to structure risk. So waiting to see if we sell off a little bit. Would like to get past 10 minutes to this orange folder medium impact news. Let that open up. And then maybe look for something. That's my thought process, guys. Too many trading platforms going. Yeah, it can help to condense, man. If you have way too many things you're looking at or too many things that you're trying to manage at the same time, it could just add headache, You then have to mark up 47 different platforms and not just one every day. You want to train your eyes really on one thing. For me, it's a TradingView chart. Project X here is a TradingView integrated chart. Same colors, right? You see the same stuff on my chart, pretty much the same stuff every day. Carlos, what's up? Good morning. Sausage or bacon? Sausage, Scott, I guess. For a breakfast sandwich? Or a bacon, egg, and cheese? I don't know. You're all over the map this morning, though, man. But I appreciate you guys hopping on. As always, if you're new, I see we got a bunch of people hopping on. If you're new, I trade live here every dang day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and most days now, 3 p.m. Eastern for Power Hour, 100% free. I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. I don't claim to have it all figured out. No crazy live P&L, leaderboards, none of that stuff, guys. Just a regular idiot looking to turn a profit. Trading live. I also have a free community, 100% free community in Discord. I will link that right now. More than happy to have you guys in there. I would be very happy to have you guys in there. You could ask questions, share your journey, get all the sauce from me. You can stay up to what's going on because a week like next week, I'm not streaming at all. But I will probably, I'll probably throw some fun stuff in Discord as I'm running around Europe. Morning, guys. Hope everyone has a nice weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kobe. Hope you had a nice weekend as well. But yeah, more than happy to have you guys in there. And as we're kind of just waiting, hanging out in the market, I'll talk about this. Top 1 futures. They're always doing something fun, man. Top 1 futures has a wild giveaway rolling. They have what they're calling the $1 million giveaway, $1 million giveaway. Essentially, you can enter to win one of 40 25K instant funded accounts by purchasing any account using code RDF. 50% off all accounts, still running with code RDF. I think you could still use code STACK5 as well on top of RDF. Still haven't been yelled at about that. But for this whole week, anything purchased between now and August 31st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, every account, one purchase equals one entry. So if you buy a couple of the copy trade, you get multiple entries. Gets you an entry to win one of 40 25K instant funded accounts. So that's rolling right now. Link is in the chat. Links in the bio. Links everywhere. Remember, guys, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I stand to make money. I can't stand to be unbiased. Important for me to tell you that on repeat and for you to go to the site yourself, read the rules, all of the frequently asked questions, ask any questions you have before you put your hard-earned money on the line, right? Make sure it's a good fit for you, that it makes sense for you personally. But that's rolling now through Sunday. So I think that's pretty sweet. Bunch of giveaways. I think it's... I love the free account stuff, man. I really do. I used to love it when, I wasn't on this side of the screen and I was in the chat hanging out. I used to love getting some free stuff, man. Or at least having an opportunity to get some free stuff. And if nothing else, get a badass discount. Let's see. Whoa, excuse me. Yeah, I'm interested to see what we get today, man. I don't know that we come outside of like the 85s, the 64 85s to like the 64 50s. I think we might kind of chop around here today. Up near these all-time highs. I can see this candle, maybe this daily candle extending a little bit further to the downside and then pulling back in. But so far, we got a little Dorito pattern for me. We got some consolidation, tightening up down below VWAP, hanging out. Again, guys, 5 minutes to orange folder news. I'm not expecting anything too crazy out of it, but if there's no setup for me before that, great, even better. I don't have to throw a trade on before news. Thank you for this. Of course, man. I appreciate you guys. Scott, that's pretty badass. Yeah, never won anything free. Hang out long enough. You'll probably win something. I do giveaways. I didn't even mention it. I also do giveaways because I do it all the time on the live streams almost every day. But we got a big giveaway rolling from Top 1. So that's probably going to be the big focus for this week. But we do giveaways on the streams all the time, man. 25K challenge accounts, instant funded accounts. We'll be giving out some accounts on the stream this week as well. So yeah, man, a ton of stuff up for grabs. And I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for being here. Someone said thank you for doing it. Thank you for this. People always throw me thank yous and gratitude. I appreciate you guys, man. I get so much out of having a community of traders, out of live streaming. It's really awesome. And without all of you guys hanging out or anybody that hops on and hits the like button or subscribes or does anything, I'd be talking to nobody, right? There'd be no community. There'd be no fun on here. It would just be me yapping, right? So I appreciate you guys hopping on, man. It's awesome. So many people say they have the best community. They have a great community. I really I think you guys are awesome, and my community is so awesome. I've had now this year, I've been giving away more stuff than ever this year, but more times than I can count now. I've had people win stuff. I've went to give them, send them money, send them, an account for winning stuff. I don't just give people things that beg, so nobody begged me for anything. But I've had multiple people now say, I want to pay it forward. Send this to somebody else. Give this to somebody else who needs it. Just run the giveaway again. I'm good. Thanks for doing everything that you do. And not even accepted things that they've won. So again, man, at least 5 or 6 times now this year. And so when I get that stuff going on, it's it's this really awesome like community. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it, you know, because I read so much of the troll stuff. I take so much of the hate, so much of the nonsense, right? And eventually you just get this bad view and you think everybody's just out for themselves and nobody really cares about anything. And, you know, and then you get some people together, random internet strangers, and they go, give this, you know, account to somebody else that needs it, or run another giveaway. I don't need it, man. I'm just happy to be here and and have some fun. And not that that's what I want anybody to do that wins anything, but I just think that demonstrates the type of community that we got. In Discord, ton of people, ton of members sharing trade ideas, sharing the good, the bad, you know, talking through really rough days, tilt, struggles, celebrating each other's wins. It's just awesome, man. It's awesome. So I appreciate you guys. I really do enjoy. I put a lot of work into the stuff that I do, a lot of the content, right? Everything that I make, the videos, the live streaming, you know, right? I spend a lot of time and energy, and I get paid on the back end for a lot of it, right? I'm partnered with firms and software, and you know, that can be very supportive. But I gotta say, guys, it's awesome to have everybody in here. It really is. So that's my wishy-washy. Y'all guys are awesome. I love everybody on a Monday. But it's true. I think practicing gratitude is important. Grateful for all you guys. Anybody that comes in, you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to use my code. You don't have to do nothing, right? I do everything free 99. You want to hang out here and you take some value away from it and you never say anything, I appreciate you anyway, man. And I hope that your trading journey goes really well, really well. So, 2 minutes to Orange Folder News. Again, we have home sales coming out. Hang tight, hang tight. Just going to take another quick look at this. Show you guys new home sales. Getting ready to drop in under 2 minutes. So I'll show you guys this again. The financial news calendar for this week. This is forexfactory.com. You could use Financial Juice, Market Watch. You could use the native one in Project X. I've used this for years, so I always come back to it. It's probably not the best one, but new home sales. That's what we got coming up. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. I wasn't expecting as big of a move that we got on Friday, but maybe we get through that. We start to wick lower. You know, we start to push to the upside. I think to the top end of this, I'd be interested to see what happens at the 64.85s here in ES. To the downside, could be all the way back down to like the 64.50s. If we just chop around VWAP here, it really doesn't give me much. It's just not too exciting. So let's see. Let's see. JB says, hey, Zach, love the way you analyze and talk about the markets. I saw you a while ago on another channel. Have watched a lot of your videos, but first time checking out the live. I appreciate you for being here, man. Thank you. Yeah. Appreciate the VWAP trading video you posted. Nice. Plan on watching again today. Yeah. Yeah, guys. I've been posting, again, I said no streams for next week at all. I'm traveling next week. But I got a bunch of videos dropping. I post a lot of basic, really, really basic, like beginner focused. If I was starting from scratch or I wanted to strip my charts and just backtest something, videos on YouTube. So you guys can always check those out. But I did one off of VWAP, just basic, like nothing but VWAP. Trading NYSE session. Here's our new home sales pushing the upside, guys. Looks like a little bit of continuation through VWAP that we want to get today. No sweeping overnight low. No pushing down just yet. I'm interested to see what happens as we get up around the 85s. I could see us potentially finding some sellers there. If not, yeah, this is interesting. This doesn't give me that much to trade off of here. Let's see. We're just gonna wick higher and come right back down. Could see that. That could be a play. Chat. So far, this looks like it could be. Yeah, we could go either way on this, man. We really could go either way. I think I'm gonna stay flat for now. I'd be, kind of. Everything's an educated guess, but I think we could easily go see the 85s, or we can come right back down below overnight lows. And I really don't have a really clean way to structure risk either way. I think at this point, gun to my head, I'd probably take it long back towards the 85s. Again, key level up here, temporary volume point of control. This is probably volume point of control from Friday. Like, let's actually draw it out on the 15-minute, and we can actually see where that volume point of control is. Let's do NYSE session real quick. Yeah, right at 85s. I could definitely see that. Dead set at 85s. But, where am I going to throw a stop? Right below. It's not that volatile. Right below overnight lows. I would have loved to see what a trade that I would be in already. Just completely different thing happening. If we had one of these bad boys. We opened up, came down here to the downside, took out some of this liquidity here, pulled one of these moves, and then came right back up to VWAP. If we got past new home sales and we were holding up here, I wouldn't mind a long. We would have already broken, overnight low, swept down below a key level that I pay attention to, taking out some buy orders that are resting down here that I'm a little bit cautious about getting a long in front of, and I'd run that long up towards the 85s, if not higher. Now we didn't do that. So I don't have a really beautiful way to structure risk because I really wouldn't want to be out. I don't know that I would want to be out of a long above the 64.50s, right? So I'm not gonna do anything. That's the long the if then, right? We create these if then statements. What does this need to look like for a setup? What does this need to look like for my setup, the way that I trade? Okay, it needs to look like this. And then can I structure risk? Yes. And then, put the trade on. Where does it go? That ready, aim, fire type of a deal. So, for me, gun to my head, which I is a terrible phrase that I should probably stop saying eventually. But as if I had to take a trade, probably something along these lines. That's what I'd be looking for. At very best, a 1-to-1. Trading towards front run the 85s, something like that. That's what I'd be looking at. But I don't like this for an invalidation point. I don't like it at all. I would like to be long if we came back down here, actually. So I really don't want to be out if we came back down here. It'd be a different trade. And, this is a continuation through VWAP. We cracked above. We pulled back down. We had a chance to rip this thing lower multiple times. Buyers holding it. No news. Looks like it could be the slow drift to the upside today. So, that's the closest thing that I would have to an entry here. Growing cumulative volume delta. Again, basic pattern recognition. We start to grow, get a nice positive CVD rolling as price increases. Oftentimes, price just keeps doing what it's doing and push to the upside. So that's really the only thing that I'm seeing here. But it's a at VWAP trade, like right in the middle ground, which I really only like if we did what I just showed, pulled back down, swept lows, found buyers aggressively, and then came back through. I don't love, like, we're consolidating at VWAP, and then I just get long at VWAP or I sell short at VWAP. That's kind of just like, picking a direction out of the middle of a range without really having any indication that what's going on. So I think I'm going to hang tight. I hang tight with you guys. 10 a.m. We got time. Nothing crazy. It's Monday. We got a full week of trading ahead. I'm going to be live with you guys every dang day. If you want to check out the full schedule, feel free to hop in Discord. I update that, keep you guys updated. I don't tell. Like I said, not streaming next week at all. I'm going to try to repeat that so everybody doesn't freak out and hit me up, usually like what happens when I don't stream for a couple days. But I'll be here 9:30 a.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. Eastern majority of the week. Some of those 3 p.m. Easterns I won't be making. Power hour has been okay to trade. Some of it's just been kind of choppy and garbage. But we'll see if we can't hop on for the latecomers. Plan on watching it again. Home sales, wow, reversal. Didn't see that coming. Tug of war. Yep, Scott. ASAP futures. How do you keep yourself calm? A couple ways, man. I think it's a mix. If you're asking me specifically, if you're asking Scott, I think he's had too many cappuccinos that he's mentioning down on the bottom. But I've been there before. I usually have one too many cups of coffee. How do I keep myself calm, man? Number one, just trial by fire. You trade enough, trade for long enough, and you realize the market opens up and you're jacked up and you want to put a trade on, right? Especially while I'm here live with you guys, and I want to always demonstrate I know what I'm doing and take straight wins, right? Even more pressure. But you jump into enough dumb trades where you really don't have a setup and take a loss and lose that way that your mind starts to register to not do that. It starts to be like, hey, that's not a good idea. It's not working at all. It's continuing to not work. Let me not do that. Thought process number two is just basic analysis, right? I take a look at my Monday mornings. I take a look at No News Mondays. I recognize oftentimes it's not always the best deal to just come pedal to the metal, putting risk on right off the bat. And along with that, it's just discipline from outside, right? We all want to trade. We all want that dopamine hit when you put a trade on, right? But what are you here for? You're here to make money. You're not here to have fun. You're not here to click buttons. If you are, just go to the casino. It's way funner. You can lose money at the casino, and it's flashy lights, and you can drink and smoke and do whatever you want to do, right? But if you do that here, it's pretty lame. You're just clicking buy and sell buttons and you'll lose money. So have some discipline. Have some discipline on the charts. Remember what you're here to do. And keep yourself calm. Keep yourself calm in losing trades, in winning trades, in losing streaks, in winning streaks. Because the more you take yourself out of that equilibrium and you get, I usually look at it like, way too confident, overconfident, this feeling of invincibility. I got it all figured out. All of a sudden, let's put more risk on. Euphoria, very dangerous. Terrible spot to be. Just equally as bad, you take a couple losses, confidence gets shaken. You stop believing in yourself. You don't believe in your ability to actually trade well. You don't think you can make money trading. And, it's just self-fulfilling prophecy where you're just going to have execution error after execution error. So keep yourself calm. Keep yourself in the middle of that if you can. Comes with time, comes with experience, right? Watching this stuff play out over and over again, watching, yourself make mistakes where you didn't stay calm. And it also comes from an understanding of the markets, to a degree, right? The markets, this is the Mark Douglas, philosophy, right? That I subscribe to really, really strongly. The markets are very random on the short term, very random, and they're fairly consistent on the long term, which is why when we look at our trading, right, we have to deal with this randomness within our short-term trade-by-trade results, but we can have consistent results if we apply consistency. But it's this paradox that we have to work within. So if you recognize the markets are pretty dang random on the short term, that I don't get too jacked up about any one thing happening or another, right? It's different every day, and I'm going to do everything that I'm supposed to do every day, or I'm going to try to. And I will take losses, right? It will be a beautiful setup, great way to structure risk. Everything's good. And the trade just doesn't play out. That's a loser for me, right? Same thing for a winner. So, you try not to get too jacked up when you're winning and too down when you're losing. Build confidence in your strategy, in yourself, in your approach through back testing, forward testing, a lot of time on the charts. Keep risk in line, and then allow yourself to collect a series of trades, right? A decent sample size of data, and then continue to review what's working well, what's not working. A little bit more of what's working, a little bit less of what's not working. Simple as that. Hope that answers the question. Good morning, all. Nervous coffee job interview later. Nice, man. Hope it goes well. I recite ICT 100 times. It keeps the markets calm. After that, Enigma about 20 times. Wolf with the randomness. with the randomness. Yeah, listen, whatever works for you guys. We all make jokes and stuff, but whatever you want to trade, I'm not going to knock you. But I definitely subscribe to the opposite of a lot of what's out there, which is I know exactly what's going to happen in the markets. I know exactly at what tick the market's going to turn. That's a bunch of BS. You might get it right. You might get it right even with a high, percent of the time. But no one knows what's going to happen next in any individual market movement. You know why? The market's a reflection of all of the market participants, right? And any one single market participant can influence what the market does at any one time, right? You would have to know for 100% certainty that Trump's not going to say something about tariffs, right? That's an example. Or that an institution is not going to, smash the buy button and look to get filled a massive amount of orders, right? We don't know these things. We can't possibly know all. So we don't know what's going to happen next. And we need to know what's going to happen next in order to make money. Kind of a contradiction, right? This really difficult thing that we have to work within. But that's how this game functions. And I was talking about going to the casino to lose money and have fun as a joke. But think about how a casino functions. It's in the exact same way, right? They have a small but ever-present edge in every single game, right? There's a lot of other things that play into casinos and how they operate and how they make money and prevent themselves from losing money. But if you just think about any game, blackjack, roulette, baccarat, whatever game you want to play, they have an edge. Very small in some of them, very small, few percent. And they don't know what is going to happen on the next game, the next hand of blackjack dealt. They don't know when anybody's going to hit it big or not big. And they don't need to in order to make money. They just need to know over a large enough sample size, over enough money played at this table, that edge will work itself out because it's a small but ever-present edge. We attempt to operate in the same way. You want to be the casino. You want to create an edge, right? Attempt to, and then let that play out over a large sample size. Okay? The casino doesn't know if they're going to make money or lose money on the next hand or spin of the wheel at any game. They don't need to, right? That's the way that we need to think about this. And if you can start to wrap your head around that, it's hard, man. It's abstract, takes a long time. But if you start to wrap your head around that, you have it demonstrated to you, enough times, right? Because we can all learn things, and until you put your hand on the stove, like you don't really learn that it's hot. But you have that demonstrated to you enough times, and you start to recognize some of the things that you do and the emotions that you have. They don't make sense. They're not logical, right? And you can start to create different reactions and different emotions and different inputs into what you're doing, the way that you're thinking about trading. I think that stuff can be really helpful to think about. As I'm yapping and just watching this market chop around, VWAP here. Not a whole lot for me, guys. Not a whole lot. Monday morning VWAP chop. Again, if I had to be have risk on in this market, it would be long back towards the 85s, but I don't have a good way to structure risk. And even maybe on another day with different risk structure and what's going on down here on Bookmap, maybe I'm in for a long, but not today. I think there's just not a setup here for me. Maybe your strategy is absolutely screaming at you short or long. Put the trade on. Don't hesitate once your setup comes. For me, I got to stay patient until my setup comes, and this really ain't it just yet. Really ain't it. Not for me yet. Well said, man. Appreciate you. The most honest comment from a trader. I don't claim to know where price will go next. Yeah. Yep. I do not know what price is going to do next. And I don't need to make money. I don't need to know what's going to happen next on every individual trade in order to make money. I don't need a 100% win rate or even close to it. But a lot of people want to hear that, right? They want to be sold that lie that there's certainty in these markets, and there is not certainty. It's a problem. So anyway, congratulations, Scott. Yeah, hit it, man, hit it. Scott's got the interview. He's gonna crush it. Took a break from trading. We'll be back once I get my mental right and get this pressure off. I feel that, Daniel. Yep. Andrew getting short now. Nice. Most people think the edge will come strictly from the strat, but it's really psychology first, risk management second, and then strat. Yeah, look at what I wrote in Discord. I wrote a long. Sometimes I've been writing a little bit more in Discord, but read through what I wrote in Discord. If you're not in the free Discord, the link's in chat. Scroll up. The longer I spend, in these markets, man, the more that I recognize what you just said is very, very true. The differentiator between traders that are making money and losing money is not some special tool on their chart. It's not some secret thing that they have behind the screens that you don't have access to, okay? It's not that they're inherently smarter, in my humble opinion, or that they have some crazy high IQ that allows them to discern something insane. I think it comes from two areas. One is experience, a lot of experience to create the discretion and intuition. But equal to and just as important is the mindset, their understanding of all of the things that we're talking about right now. And not only the understanding, but the holding it as a core belief that allows them to make good trading decisions under pressure while managing size. That's the differentiator. It's not a magic strategy. You can take anybody else's strategy and fail at it, which is what happens for almost everybody that starts trading. I don't know many that make it in a year. And it's very frustrating. It's a very frustrating situation where you're watching somebody else do something. You know exactly what they do and how they do it, but you can't mimic it. You can't do what they're doing. And again, you don't have the experience and you don't have the mindset. You don't have the understanding of the markets. And you don't have the understanding of yourself and how you need to self-regulate. That's the differentiator, man. That's the deal. And again, like some people say, psychology is all a bunch of BS. You can't just trade well. I agree with that also, right? It's not just BS. You need an edge. You need something in the markets that actually is going to provide you with some type of an edge, right? Discretionary, mechanical, some set of tools that you're using, and you need to apply some consistency. Just having a great psychology and mindset is not going to carry you enough. But the exact same is true on the ladder. If you have a great strategy, a 100% great strategy, back-tested, forward-tested, you've watched it play out, if you can't manage risk and you can't do what you're supposed to do and execute the strategy, it never stands a chance to play out. And that's where so many traders find themselves, right? It could be simplified to tilt. So many traders just continue to blow up. They take 2 losses, couple losses in a row, tilt, blow the account, throw everything out the window on strategy, right? That's not the strategy. That's not the edge. That's you. So that's the differentiator. In my humble opinion, that's what I believe, okay? And I think it's demonstrated because, again, you can watch other traders trade, right? You can watch me trade. You see exactly what I do and how I do it. You can watch way less discretionary, more mechanical, more systematic traders with very clear outlined strategies trade them, right? And do very well. Why can't we do that? Why can't you come from zero and you spend 2 weeks learning and, you understand the basics? Why can't you now do that? Mindset. Psychology, right? Confidence, belief systems, and experience. I think that's where it comes from. So keep things stupidly simple. In the words of many others, keep things very, very simple. Focus on being a great risk manager, and then think about the way that you're thinking about trading. Is it correct? That's where you're going to make progress. That's where I made a lot of progress. Don't know exactly where you're going to make progress, but that's where I started to make a lot of progress. Yeah, 100% agree. Worst thing. And I'll say before I even start reading the chat, as I talk about this stuff and have these, little rants and we rap sessions about it, remember, guys, I don't have it all figured out. I still consistently am attempting to get better at all of the things that I'm describing, right? I cannot do them with some absurd success rate, right? I'm aware of them the same way that most of us are aware of them, and I still struggle in a lot of different ways, right? So I don't want, and I try to repeat that always and preface that and kind of say it at the end, right? I don't have it all figured out. I still make mistakes. I still have problems. I still find myself making, these decisions that don't make sense based in the way that I'm talking about, right? But I think that's where I started to make a lot of progress. And when I come back to and focus on things, Yes, execution, trade management, all of this stuff is important. But when I really, really get my mindset right, my confidence is solid, I'm thinking about the way that I should be thinking about trading, that's when it's like everything starts to connect really well. For sure. So I watched a little bit of a dip lower and then a push right back up. Right back towards VWAP. We gonna start selling off here? We gonna start pushing through? We started to get a little uptick in volume on that. This is just my read of price action. Looks like we wanted to come lower. We got bought right back up to VWAP here. We continue to just hammer into it. Are we going to start pushing higher, or are we going to start selling off here? Again, I don't have a trade on this, guys. Choppy, no news Monday at VWAP. I'd prefer to just save my risk for when something better, sets up. Of course, I want to trade. I want to put risk on. I want to make progress, but I'm not here to gamble and just to do random stuff. So this looked like we were going to maybe get bought right back up and start coming through VWAP. I would have started to consider that for a long. Conversely, I think we're going to make a decision here a little bit. Looks like we're about to either come lower or turn right back through VWAP here. Could we continue to chop? Sure, but that was a little bit of an uptick in volume, just the speed, right? My read of the market. We're going to crack right back down towards the 55s. I think that can come pretty quickly if we start to sell off here. Or we're going to turn right back through VWAP and push to the upside. That felt a little wiggly for a really highly technical term. Felt a little wiggly. You start to get a read from momentum out of the markets when you watch them enough. Let's see. Does Bookmap need level 2 data? Yes. Well, so we talk about Bookmap real quick. We talked about it on Friday. I think I ran through a lot. This is Bookmap. Bookmap is a subscription. I will give you guys. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated with Bookmap. There's your fair warning. I stand to make money. I can't be unbiased. I'd be using Bookmap even if I wasn't partnered and affiliated with them because I think they're awesome. I think it's helpful. Is it some magic answer to all of your questions and this magic strategy that you need? No. I think there's plenty of traders that do very well without any form of order flow. And I use it in a very, very, like I talk about, a very dumb guy way. Basic pattern recognition, not spending time on the narratives and theories behind everything happening. Sometimes I find myself starting to talk that way, and I'm trying to clean that up. I use it in an extremely dumb guy way. I watch it, and I create some implicit memory on the patterns that present themselves, right? Basic combination. So this is a subscription. Bookmap, the software itself is a subscription to pay for it. And then you need level 2 data. You see, this is Bookmap data. You can have Rhythmic, DX Feed. You can use Bookmap data. You can use a bunch of different stuff. But you need a subscription to level 2 data for Bookmap to function, right? So that's the answer there. If you want to check it out, link is in the site. Link is in the chat. Get yourself a discount on Bookmap if you want to check it out. During the time, read or listen to Best Loser Wins on Repeat. That book changes lives, not just trading. Yeah, 100%. I can't, I say this truthfully. If you haven't listened to Best Loser Wins, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, and The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler, those are my top 3. They're the most popular, right? They're almost everybody's top 3. Those are great. If you haven't done that, you should probably leave the stream now, which I never tell people to do, and go listen to those 3 because they're probably going to provide the best amount of information and understanding around the mindset psychology side of trading that you could possibly get. There's a ton of other books. You might find them better. I have a book list in Discord if you want to hop in there. But absolutely, they give you really detailed explanations of the game of probabilities that we're playing, the way that you need to think about trading, different traders' journeys and experiences, right? And a lot of them give you some practical tools and exercises to actually start to work on tackling some of that. So, solid. You were the best. I don't think I'm the best, but I appreciate you saying it. Just found you Friday. We'll seek you on Discord. Absolutely. Just jumped in the Discord. Thanks for the link. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Yeah. Spot on, my brother. Chewed out 100%. Okay, enough of the serious stuff for me. Back into troll mode. Yeah, Wolf, you were doing so good. Patience is definitely key for me. I have been funded many times and taken payouts, but have also blown accounts by tilting, like you were saying now. Yeah. I don't know. I think tilt has killed more accounts than anything else. Not normal losing streaks. Is it wrong that I always track the NQ traders, but I actually trade ES? No, I don't think that. I don't think so. I think everybody chooses their weapon of choice, their instrument that they want to trade, and you can trade whatever you want to trade. I'd be cautious trading only looking at an NQ chart and then looking to execute on ES. I think correlation can be very helpful. I don't tend to use it that much myself. It's just one of those things that many other traders do with success. It seems to hurt me more than it helps me. But you can go ahead and watch it. In this instance, since I'm looking at it now that we said it, ES is right below VWAP here. NQ is above VWAP, looking much stronger. YM is pushing lows of the session. So we have ES in the middle, NQ to the upside, YM to the downside. Overall, they're all small red, looking at the percent change on the day. But not really highly correlated there. But yeah, up to you what you watch and what you trade. 2 fakes in a row. Watch Bookmap. I got you. Trade the instrument that feels right for you. Yeah. Can you mention the 3 books again? Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. And The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. I think there's a D in his name. Jared Tendler. The Mental Game of Trading. I would go Trading in the Zone, which is everybody's favorite book. First, Best Loser Wins. They're both very similar in my opinion. People seem to like one and not the other or go back and forth, but I don't think you can go wrong reading both of those. And then The Mental Game of Trading is really cool. He describes different things in different ways. He talks about working on your C game, the inchworm theory. He gives you some different practical steps in different areas, I think, to really apply different things, which I think can be helpful, right? A lot of times it's like, okay, here's what you have to think about and what to do, but how do you actually do that? What's the first step to take? And then past that, there's plenty of other solid trading books that I think, again, if you're like me and you're not good at actually physically reading paper books, but you're great at listening to books, you can get almost everything on audio tape. I pay for like the little AI reader to be able to read me, crap. If I just have a downloaded version of it, that type of stuff. But find a spot to mix that in, right? I think it can be very helpful, very, very helpful. I do it when I'm running often. I train quite a bit. I do quite a few hours. And if I listen, here's the example, right? Let me tell you how many hours I ran last week. Not to be a brag, but I used to just listen to nothing or music. Sometimes I listen to nothing. Like when I did my long run this week, I actually listened to nothing. But yeah, this week was 8.5 hours. Last week was 7.5 hours. If I fill that time listening to audiobooks, I run through books. Literally and figuratively. I rip through them, right? Some of them are really long listens, but most are not. So maybe you commute to work, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you just spend some time in the morning or afternoon kind of having some coffee and having some peace with yourself. Throw an audiobook on, man, and it's great. Or maybe you do genuinely just like reading and you can read. But those are like study sessions, man. They're great. I've listened to, and again, maybe I'm hard-headed. Maybe you say that's a stupid thing and a waste of time. I've listened to those 3 books, all of them multiple times, because it's a refresher, right? I want to build that as a core belief. It's building it, honing it into my subconscious to really think and feel these ways that I'm attempting to. So that's what I got for reading. But yeah, guys, this is nothing, really nothing. Chopping at VWAP here, straight up VWAP chop, volume weighted average price. Even if we didn't have VWAP here, this is just rangy consolidating price action. Here's what we're looking at. Here's the low of the session. What beautiful opportunity does this present you? Maybe you say, hey, we're getting ready for a larger move. I think so, right? The more we consolidate and kind of contract together like this with price action and structure, the more I think we are likely to see a more explosive move. I don't have a direction on which way that's going to go or a good way to structure risk without just throwing a stop right outside of this. So I'm no trade. Cool by me. It's Monday. Don't have to throw 1,000, trades on and a bunch of risk on the line, right? I would prefer to not. My P&L doesn't know the difference between a winning trade and a losing trade, right? So if I can not have a losing trade on a Monday, that's a win. That's a win. So I think if we start to sell off to the downside, I'll be looking towards the 50s. We start to push to the upside, I'm looking towards the 85s. I would just be taking it directionally out of consolidation, though. So, whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing for now. But good conversation. Good questions. Good conversation. Good talking about mindset in the markets. Smash the like button if you got some value out of this hanging out so far. Appreciate you being on. You don't have to do anything. Free means free, but hitting the like button does help me get more people on the stream, and maybe they get some value. While we're hanging out, remember we got this rolling this week, guys. I'm going to yap about this quite a bit because I think it's a solid opportunity. 40 25K instant funded accounts getting given away. This is based on a purchase. Any purchase using code RDF gets you one entry to win. Multiple purchases equals multiple entries to win. 50% off all accounts. This goes all the way through the end of this week, the end of this month, August 31st, Sunday at 11:59 p.m. If you want to check that out, I will link it here again in the chat for you guys. Bam. There you go, guys. But as always, remember, I'm partnered, I'm affiliated, I stand to make money. I can't stand to be unbiased if I stand to make money. So head to the site, do your own research, make your own decisions. And while we are hanging out waiting for the market to do something, I'm going to try to get my IB high and low set up. Since we did just set the initial balance high and low. Is it that one? I got to get rid of clean this up because I don't even know what this is. No? There we go. We have our IB high and our IB low. 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 10:30 a.m. Eastern is our initial balance. The opening range from that time that I just said, 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 10:30 a.m. Eastern, gives us a nice opening range to trade, something to consider. I don't use it a ton. We talked about opening ranges a lot last week as well. I don't use it a ton, but I don't mind marking it. I think there's some pretty difficult to negate stats that have to do with initial balance, and I don't mind watching that. Don't mind watching that play out. ASAP, did you read Trade Mindfully? I don't think so. That's a new one. Haven't heard that one. I'm gonna say I've probably read. I've read almost every major one I can get my hands on. Yeah, dozens. I gotta look it up because I'm an idiot and I might have. Who's it by? Yeah, I don't know if I know this one. Trade Mindfully. Oh, there's actually a couple of them, so I don't know if this is the right one. Achieve Your Optimum Trading Performance with Mindfulness by Gary Dayton. If that's the one, I have not read that one. That might be the one that I have to read next. They're all really good books. I personally feel Best Loser Wins a little more practical and applicable with trading. Yeah, Trading the Zone is more theoretical. Sure. I've tried that mixed bag. I seem to be better at trading daily levels since there is almost always some reaction. Nice. Wolf, there's the troll comments. Figure out what works for you. Bookmap isn't a magical tool. My humble opinion. Correct. No, there's no magical tools, right? And most of the people, most traders want the magical tool. That's just not it. Enter the Ninja Trader competition. How the fudge is the leader up $30,000 from overnight? Fixed amount. It's quoted by Jaron Taylor. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I have to read that one. Man. To add that to the list. I like the name of it. Trade Mindfully. Just listen to your voice note on the in Discord about my VWAP chart. Awesome. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah. Of course. If you guys got questions and stuff, hop in Discord, man. I like to try to share as much as I can. Like I talk about, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm happy to give you as much sauce as I possibly have on trading. Free Discord, not a VIP feeder program, no course, no mentorship, no crazy, nothing. I yap about companies that I'm partnered and affiliated with, but that's it. I trade free on here, actually trade, right? live, showing executions in real time. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, this is not it, as the kids say. This is not it. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, guys, I'm really not really not excited about this price action at all. And this to me feels like the challenge. Every day is a different challenge, right? Sometimes the market's moving like crazy, right? Like this. And the challenge is stay patient, don't get involved, don't FOMO in while the market's moving so aggressively and you know there's, a move to happen. This one feels like the market's not moving. It's very choppy, a whole lot of nothing, and keeping myself out of a losing trade is going to be the challenge today. So I think if you can start to develop that skill set of staying patient and not throwing a losing trade on or taking multiple losses when the market's not doing anything and you really shouldn't be involved anyway, you can really start to move the needle in the right direction. I used to do that quite a bit. We were talking about Ninja Trader, Project X, learn the concept. Yeah. Whatever you get comfortable on. I don't think there's any one best platform either. What is your name? It's everywhere, brother. You should be able to see it if you're on my YouTube. Should be able to see my full name everywhere. Oh, well, it's moving away from the point of volume. To a degree. Right? And I think if we push to the upside, I can't even see it on my 1 minute chart. If we push to the upside, I think we're likely to come away from this area of high volume here and move to this area of high volume here, right? Right around the 85s, which this is visible range volume profile or volume profile visible range. Volume profile visible range here on Project X is the name of it. But this is also the 85s, right at the 85s is prior day volume point of control. I think if we push to the downside, right, what's the next area that we might hit? A peak down below to the 50s, just a peak. And if we come through, that, all the way down. But more so than that, I could just see us chopping a little bit. Which is why I'm not in anything right now, chat. We're hanging out, yapping about mindset, psychology, trading. This is just not a lot. Not a lot of anything, right? And again, what's the long trade look like? If I had to take something from here, if I wanted to get involved right here, I said, hey, I want those 85s. I think we're going to hit it at best, at very best, this, right? I don't really love this. Don't love this. We didn't sweep overnight high. We didn't come down and check out IB low. Overnight low. Didn't come down here and check out IB low. So, I mean, that's the trade that I would throw on if you said, put a trade on right now. You have to put one on. Target, stop, entry, everything. That's it. But again, what is this? It's from the dead set middle of a consolidation is the entry in one direction with a stop loss just outside. I don't like that. Because we often know if we're going to move up, we come down and sweep lows before moving up. And we often know that if we're going to move lower, we have to come up here, take everybody out that pulls that trade, and then actually move lower. So I'd really prefer one from the extremes today, or we tap the extreme and then start to continue through. That's what I would like. But I don't know that we get that. Trader has sent 4 emails in the last couple hours. Fund that account. You're approved. Just wanted to enter the comp. I'm out. Big move from Friday is messing up PA. I'm assuming that you say yeah. Big move from Friday is messing up PA. I find it gets difficult to structure. I find it gets difficult to structure trades with stuff like this. I think when we just objectively, when we get a huge movement in the market, it can make it tough to place a clean invalidation point. Scott was a runner in CBOT, Chicago Board of Trade in 1987. I was green and 21. I'm rediscovering my youth and failing miserably. Scott, you're mad funny, dude. Yeah, no, listen, this stuff is tough, man. This stuff is tough. So, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out on here. I think I'm going to go no trade for the morning. If I throw something on, it's not even going to be in these accounts. I'm going to throw some alerts above and below price just to frame out what I'd be looking for. If we just move to the upside from here, obviously I'm not in it. I'm going to throw some trading view alerts after I hop off down here to take a look at the charts. If we start to sell off, cracking the overnight low, IB low. Same thing to the upside and at 85s. But I'm not just going to, I'm going to not tempt myself, right? And I think that can be a helpful skill also. You sit at the charts, you give yourself time, you mark your charts up in the morning, you watch them for however long, multiple candles print. You go, there ain't nothing here for me right now, and I don't think anything's setting up very quickly. I know the longer I sit here, the more I'm inclined to just throw something on because I start to get impatient, right? That patience starts to get tested. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Make it somewhat of a short one, and I'll be back on for Power Hour. Maybe we get some movement for Power Hour. We look to trade MOC like a whole bunch of degenerates, and we get something rolling then. Don't go. No, I don't want to watch. That's funny. No, man. Hey, dude. Watch whoever you want to watch. Hardest thing you could ever do. Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. I mean, right as I said it, we started to move, guys. So I'm not going just yet. The market heard me. It was like, all right, he's gone. Time to give him the move. I'm gonna give this. Let's hang for at least 5 more minutes. Let's hang for at least 5 more minutes. We started to move here. Watch my mentor's videos in the meantime. Yeah, watch the algo creators videos. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna try to hop on for Power Hour today, guys. See if we can't get the 3 p.m. stream rolling. 2:30, 3 p.m. Hop back on. It hasn't been crazy, but we'll see if we can't find a way into something. We started to move. We started. It's waiting for me to get off, guys. It knows. The market makers are watching. They're like, all right, just chop at VWAP until he dips and then break out for a huge movement. Yeah, here we are, back up to VWAP. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. I'll come back on for Power Hour. We'll have some fun later. I don't want to sit here and just watch this thing chop for any longer. Put my time in, did what I needed to do this morning, which was nothing. Again, I'm going to be looking down around the 60s. If we start to get down there, I'm going to be looking up above the 75s if we start to extend this range one way or the other. Not to directly jump into a long or a short, but watch what happens as we get down there. Do we sweep lows, start to find buyers, price starts to crack back in towards VWAP really aggressively? Maybe I'm looking long towards those 85s. We hit 85s, start to sell off really aggressively, turn right back down. Maybe I'm looking down past, for a short past VWAP. That's my game plan. You guys want to hop in the free Discord, go right ahead. I'll try to keep you guys updated. And remember, first day of this that we're talking about it runs the whole week. Code RDF. Every purchase gets you an entry into winning one of 40 25K instant funded accounts and gets you 50% off. If you want to check that out, link is in chat. Link is everywhere. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys hopping on. I'm watching some of the some of the comments. I'm gonna go no comment. I think everybody's got a different way of doing things for sure, man. And I think it's up to them to run it however they want to run it. And you might hop on my streams and say, that dude puts me to sleep. He's boring as hell. He doesn't do anything fun or crazy. It's just him in his room yapping, and then he didn't even take a trade. That dude sucks. So I always grain of salt it. But anyway, appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks for being here. Quick disclaimer. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys hopping on. No trade session. Good conversation on psychology. Not a whole lot, but it's Monday. We're starting out nice and slow, taking it easy. Let's see if we start to sweep these lows later on into the session or come back above this IB high. Talk to you guys soon. I will try to keep you guys updated in Discord, and we'll be back on for Power Hour probably around 2:30. Try to hop on a little bit earlier than Power Hour, maybe around 2:30, 2:45. See you guys later today. Have a great trading session. Trade well this week.